Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jake McPherson. We are back at it. It's hot. It's July. Just kicked off bullfrogging season. It goes through October. Not just bullfrogs. I think it's green frogs, bullfrogs. Pretty sure that's it. So we're doing the video thing. If you're noticing on whatever platform you're looking at, trying to do it. No guarantees if this doesn't work out when I'm uploading all this crap. We'll just get the audio and everybody will be wondering where the video's at, and we'll deal with that at a later date. Still trying. We'll see how it all works out. I realize I have a huge bright window thing going on right here. It is what it is. If we keep doing this, maybe I'll get a different perspective and again a better camera. This is an old laptop computer. This is what I do everything on. So that's what that's all about. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. I'm trying to stay cool. It has been, yeah, the humidity in the Midwest, Missouri. Anybody that knows it's just kicks a different kind of, just makes it a different kind of hot. So that sucks. Getting through it. Uh, yeah, gonna be busy over the next few weeks, working 6 days a week, trying to take care of the yard on Sundays and the house stuff and all that, and squeezing in a little time for this little baby again. So busy time. Looking forward to the bear hunt coming up with my brother. That's kind of how, I guess, if you don't count, I mean, technically, if you count this, I count seasons as like you buy how you buy the license. You know what I'm saying? So this season to me really starts with turkey, so I would say it ended with the coyote tournament. So to me, it ends in February and then begins the new hunting year in my mind is in March. I think that's even when they renew fishing licenses and stuff. So I don't think I'm too out of sorts with that. That might not be unique. It might just be how they do it in Missouri. I don't know. Um, but yeah, excited about the bear thing because Missouri, we start our deer season uh, September 15th for archery, and the bear deal for Colorado that I'm going on, that limited entry starts the 2nd of September, I think it is. So it goes 2nd of September all the way through the month of September. I wish I could go all the way through the month of September. Maybe one of these days that will be possible to do financially. But this time, I think it's going to be cut to roughly 7 hunting days. So there's a couple travel days getting there. The way we're gonna leave. My son and I, Ryder. It'll take us. We'll get there the same day we leave. We're gonna leave on a Sunday, get there on a Sunday, and then start on it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then drive home either Monday or Tuesday. It just depends. I'm gonna play. If we're on something, I'm not gonna leave a memory in the mountains. So excited about that. Um, but I've been thinking about that and then thinking about some conversations I've had over the last year and some thoughts about where, and this has nothing to do with the Colorado hunt at all. This is segue to the next deal. This is more about where do you draw the line when you're hunting as far as your your code of ethics, the wildlife code of ethics, and like straight up wildlife law. Because I think there's different levels of what we think, and I've talked to many hunters from old school guys that they have jumped fences, and it's kind of a joke at that. And back in the day, I think it wasn't necessarily a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal, but it wasn't as big a deal as it is now, I think, criminally, so to speak. back then, I think it's more of you getting ran off of a property. Now you could like go to freaking jail and all this kind of stuff. Not to say you couldn't back then, but I think that the stakes have raised, and I can even resort stuff like that to when I was a kid, like the crap we used to get into as a kid back then. If we got caught, it's more of call your parents. Now you're getting charges, you're going to juvie or jail or what have, whatever, however old you are. So anyway, where do you draw the line? And I ask that because I've had a lot of conversations over the past year with a lot of people being involved in that. The bear organization that I was in did quite a few shows and got to talk to a ton of people, from conservation agents, normal just regular everyday joes, hunters of all types. And the range of people literally was from people didn't even know there are bears in Missouri. I kid you not, or that didn't even know there were bears. There's people that want more bears in Missouri, and there's people that want less bears in Missouri. So, and I heard it from all of them, and all of them have um, a case. I can't necessarily say good, bad, or indifferent, but some have better cases than others. Uh, the ones I heard that was we want less bears. It was more of a guy, and then I think I've kind of heard some of the echoes on social media being probably more people just trying to get a reaction. But it was his perspective was that since bears have really started to make a comeback in Missouri, that they should be, that if the quote is 40, we need to hit 40. I don't know why they're stopping at 40. They're killing all the fawns at my property. I haven't seen X amount of does since the bears, and I see all these bears on my camera instead of the deer, and what, all this kind of stuff. To that fella, and many like him, I can simply say, then maybe uh, change up your property a little bit. Maybe you've created a bear environment. And I realize that deer and black bear, especially, very much eat the same stuff and like the same things. But there's definitely stuff you can plant one way or another that could persuade deer rather than bear. There's clear cutting. There's different things you can or should or shouldn't do to make your manage your property for deer. If you moved out there 7 years ago and the deer were great, and now all of a sudden they suck. Well, if you haven't cut some trees or planted this or done that, and it's just overgrown like crazy, then chances are, you're at fault and you're blaming something because you're not managing the property properly. And what's been happening is your neighbors now, instead of a farmhouse, a subdivision, is, has the river changed, has the creeks dried up, has there's so many factors that play into why you are or aren't seeing deer on your property. Because I can tell you that as far as the Missouri deer population, there's freaking plenty. There's more than plenty, which is why I think it's funny that anybody complains about any of the oh, they're taking calling deer. And I realize calling like that, it strikes a chord with me too, don't get me wrong, but we got millions plural deer in this state, and just judging by driving down the road, the highway to and from work every day, there's plenty of deer. There's plenty, because somehow they just, I see them laying down right on the shoulder of the highway all the time, if you know what I mean. So to that, there's that. Anyway, to the people that don't know about bears, that's, we'll cross that. That's just, that is what it is, and hopefully that we can teach it. And hopefully, when they learn about the bears, it's in a healthy, scientific way and not an emotional, um, Care Bears type of way. It's in an actual, you know, realistic type of situation. Uh, More bears. That's me. and most other hunters. There was a lot of deer hunters that didn't know, that knew we had bears, but didn't know we had a bear season. There was also another subcategory of people. But to digress back to what I was kind of wanting to talk about here was the where's the line as far as getting as far as the harvest. There's what we have in Missouri, which is nothing. You can't do anything. Um, Technically, it's not illegal to feed the bears in Missouri. It is illegal to bait bears in Missouri. But baiting only happens during hunting season by how they have the law written right now. So it's kind of a really great thing. And I've talked to conservation agents directly about this issue, and they admit it is definitely a gray area. It's again not illegal, highly frowned upon, especially with like massive capital letters and quotes and all that kind of stuff, especially using human food products like molasses, syrup, honey, things of that nature. That kind of stuff is big time no, because now not only are you possibly turning a bear onto attracting it to human foods, which will then get it closer to humans, and then it'll become a problem to those humans. And in Missouri, they do not relocate; they euthanize. Again, this is direct information from conservation. They euthanize. We don't have the vast space like Colorado and some of the other states where we can just slap a tag in the thing's ear, throw a collar on it, and send it further into the Ozarks or deeper into wherever wilderness. We don't have that here. There is nowhere for it to go. And so, therefore, it ends up dead, which is why they say a fed bear is a dead bear, regardless of your intention. Regardless of your intention. So, although it isn't, again, illegal, it is detrimental. It's not just sporting wise, and we'll get into this as far as that goes, but sporting wise, there's that conversation to be had. But again, you could be creating a bear that now wants to go to humans, because all those things, especially those types of things and things that one would use to attract a bear, dog food is one. I mean, there's dog food all over the place, especially like that's terrible. um got a fire truck coming by, so we'll just have to bear with me here. But to use especially products like those sugary types, licky, sticky types of things, especially if you're pouring them on a stump or something, doing something like that to where you're really creating a cycle. You know what I mean? You're creating a cycle. Whether your intentions don't matter. It's you could just want to get them on trail cam so you can be cool in your mind, um and show pictures, or your trail cam videos or whatever, showing that, oh, look how many bears I have on this trail cam. I mean, it's like, look how good I am at finding bears, and I got this great spot. And then you realize there's this, stump in the picture every single time with crap all over it. And then, well, anyway, when and I have firsthand information of some of these things. Unfortunately, that's why I'm speaking so directly and so detailed. I will leave the names out to protect the guilty, but um, it's to me it's gross to do it like that. And when it's in a state like, if it's in, and that's what I'm trying to say, like, this is a gray area. Is it illegal? No. Is it against the wildlife code? No. However, obviously during the bear season, that 2 week bear season, if you hunt over a corn pile, your little honey stump, or whatever during the bear season, and that whatever isn't removed, and I mean, when they say removed, they mean every seedling of bird seed, every kernel of corn, Every trace of whatever you're using must be completely gone. I believe it's 10 days before you sit down to hunt that spot. So there's an illegal part to it, but right now it's not. But what you're doing is dangerous. What you're doing is creating a habit for this, just because again, you said it's because, but if you do draw a tag in Missouri, you know what you're gonna do. So then it loses this innocent, I like seeing them, I like to show them to people, I like to feel cool, to I want to do this so I can say I got one and now I'm a criminal, just for what? And so that's where I get a little weird on the baiting stuff. Hounds is another one that people get real touchy on, but that's again that's completely illegal in Missouri, and that's really only a few states, and I believe it's even a few parts of a few states to like, and only during and certain parts of a few states only on private. Like it's very, but and now I don't want to be taken wrong here, because like I'm saying all these things about baiting in Missouri, and it's because in Missouri, again, we don't have the space to create this kind of thing in these bears. Because right now, fed bear, dead bear, we want more bears. So if they have to euthanize a bear, that bear is not adding to the gene pool, which then grows the population to where once there is a healthy, sustainable population of bears in Missouri, a manageable population of bears in Missouri, if you will, then baiting can become discussed, and using the right bear baiting products to bait in these bears, to then selectively harvest said bears to make sure we're reaching certain quotas. And when those quotas are met, we are taking out bears that are older, mature, added to the gene pool at the end and not shooting babies, shooting cubs and sows. We're shooting old, stovepipe 500-pound boars, because we got to sit there and watch all these bears come in all day. So we don't just have to pray to God you see a glimmer of one and shoot it and hope it was alone, and hope it was big, because that's what you get, honestly, when you don't have bait and hounds. You get the needle in a haystack and a needle in a haystack. I've talked about that in the podcast before. It's very, very, very hard to find bears when the bears aren't coming to you, or you don't have an animal to find the bears. When it's up to you to go out into wherever and find a bear, it's scouting, no scouting. You could be the best bear. Like nobody's batting 100 in this one. In the bear game, nobody's batting 100. And we could talk about the baiting thing. And I know like people like, was this just about bears? I mean, we talk about the deer thing too. But with deers and that baiting, I think that's more of an argument with CWD. Um, as far as why they don't allow that here, which I got my own opinions on that. I think that's kind of, I don't, I'm one of those, show me the money type people. But at the same time, I don't want to be such a contrarian to where it will take an entire field of dead deer for me to be like, oh shit, CWD, man, it can decimate a herd. Because that's all I've heard, no pun intended, is that it's going to do this, it's going to level that, it's like, our population of deer keep growing. It keeps being if it was detected that to me, if it was what they said it was truly, it would have already created some sort of I don't want to say a decline, but maybe not a management, but it would an impact. And I don't think there's been an impact. I really don't. So, I mean, it is what it is on the deer thing. But I'm going back on the bear. Because that's really where people's emotion. Because most people don't care about deer. Either you hunt deer, you don't hunt deer. The people that are like, oh, you hunt deer, and it's a meat thing. Bears, you got to explain. Like, why do you want to hunt a bear? Why would you want to hunt a bear? Well, several reasons. One, the journey of the pursuit, something that is spiritual to a level that won't most people unfortunately don't get to experience. Unfortunately, and that sucks for them. But it's the hide is valuable. The fat is useful in so many ways. The meat is de freaking delicious. And where I'm going to hunt the bear in Colorado, the scientist and the wildlife department want me to come hunt said bear to make sure that they don't have so many said bears that then they don't have enough mule deers, elk, moose, whatever. It's a balance. And we are, as human beings, a part of that balance, whether we want to be or not. We have impacted the world, especially let's just keep it to America. We have impacted our country to a level that we are part of the management system of wildlife. And we learned that early enough on in this country that we have mastered it, if you will. The revival of so many species and so many um, natural areas is very unique to North America. And a lot of people take that for granted. They think it just happened miraculously. They don't realize that happened because of game management through hunting primarily as the means of when this predator can't, and there's not enough of this predator to balance out this prey animal, we then need to become the predator to balance out that prey animal. Feel me? And so in certain other states, we got to be the predator animal to balance out the other predator animal to then help, therefore, also help balance out the prey animals. So that's conservation. That's what we're all trying to do. So that's why three good reasons why, major reasons: food, spiritual journey, wildlife management, conservation. Good stuff, right? So to go back on and that's why I'm not against baiting as a means of take and running hounds as a means of take, because again, and like talk like hounds on mountain lions, that was a buzzy one, especially out west Colorado. That was a huge one under attack. Was just cat hunting in general, but then the running of hounds was also an added measure of, oh, you're torturing them, you're stressing them out, you're doing all these things, not realizing how most of these animals spend their final moments and being scared by some dogs. And then, like, tomorrow, that cat doesn't remember that because it's too busy surviving real outdoor life all the time. That's something I think people also forget a lot when it comes to animals is how, like, they're there all the time. They live there 24/7. Like right now I'm inside. It's air conditioned. Okay? I I'd like to think I'm primitive, go hardcore survival kind of dude, but I'm pretty sure that I couldn't. I mean, okay, I'm not going to say that. I can't actually get myself to say that, but it would really freaking suck to try to live outside right now, even in my backyard. Even in my backyard. Not in the woods with the ticks and all the bug, just all like I got bugs in my backyard. I got, and I'm not some ew bugs. But when you're talking about out like the shit that's all over you all the time, the heat, the humidity, the rain, the snow, the cold, the ice, the storms, the bugs, it's just, yeah, like you get one little cut, like as a human being, if you could get one cut, you could die straight up. You know what I mean? And I've seen deer with like their entire sides cut open, and then 2 years later they just got like a little scar. I've seen deer with their arms turned backwards, and you see it the next season, and he's got a little limp, but he's fine. But he's fine. He's living. Livin. You know what I mean? So anyway, nature's resilient and hardcore. We are not nearly as hardcore as we like to think we are because we live inside. They don't. So there's that. At least speaking for Americans for the most part. Anyway, um, yeah, that's. I don't really. Is that all I have on that? Yeah. So in Missouri, you can't do it. You can. You shouldn't. They don't want you to. But if you do, you need to remove it before 10 days before you plan on hunting it. And so I guess let that be a tip. And hopefully that's not what you're doing. To me, and to each method and means, hyphen, whatever, baiting, hounds, everybody's got different strokes, different folks. Everybody's going to take it a little different. Everybody, I get that. And I can understand that as a, we are in this together, as keeping within the guard the gate, you know, mantra, so to speak. We, I understand that there are certain, you have certain traditions, which I understand that, and those traditions are fine. You have certain other things, but to me, that cheapens it when you're talking about certain animals, certain opportunities. Like if you're going out there just to get meat, like I'm a meat hunter, I need 6 deer to feed my family this year. We need 6 deer a year. I need my 6 deers. Then honestly, I don't care how that guy gets his deer. I really don't. I could care less how that guy gets his deer. But when you're talking about hunting um an animal that is where you're trying to grow a population, like the Missouri black bear, which it's like unique from Colorado, like it sucks we can't bait in Colorado. Um I'm not even sure the reasoning. I'll figure that out. I'm sure it's very soft, SOF capital T, but they probably got a reason, at least in their minds. But it is allowed in a lot of other places because they want you to get to they want you to be in front of the bear, and they want to make sure that when you see that bear, that you can take the good one, the old one, not the little young one or the mommy or any of that stuff. It allows you selective harvest to management, and so I'm not really sure why they don't have that out there. They have it in play, like Arkansas, I think on private land and on national park land. Don't quote me on it. Look it up. If you're going to go do any hunting, by all means, make sure you look up the rules and regulations. Missouri's a Missouri only hunt. We have 1,500 bears, and that's a high estimate. That's my estimate. MDC is a lower estimate. I think it's probably over 1,500. But still, when you're talking about a population as far as, what it is, it's still a coming back. It's a building population. Like right now, the hunt, there's a quota because we're trying to grow the population, and the population can, if you take this many, if all quotas were filled, all 40 bears were taken this year, then you take that out of the equation, you still have their tolerable or their goal growth rate of X amount of percent. I'd 9%, let's say. So even with that total plus the ones that they got to take out because people like to feed them to get them on their trail cams and other dumb and potentially sketchier shit than that. But you got dumb people doing dumb things for whatever reason, good or bad. And we're trying to grow this population. We're not trying to manage it. We're not trying to keep it in check. We won't have quotas. Once that point comes, once Missouri doesn't have quotas, and anybody can get you. You can just get your add-on bear tag. Then, then I bet we'll even be talking about baiting at that point in this state as a means to manage, as a means to make sure we're getting enough harvested to keep that population so we don't end up with decreased populations of not just deer but other species of turkeys and ground birds, rabbits, shit, all kinds. Like you would create an imbalance essentially, and that's what wildlife management is all about. Is the realization that we are now fully a part of the circle of life, if not even the wheel that spins that circle of life in this. And it's, you could say in this country, and that could has to do with from wildlife and deer to think about the oceans and the impact on that and pollution and the environment and ozone layer. And I'm not going there. You can feel how you feel, think what you think. I follow the science, whether you want to say it's real or not. I'm following the science on that one. The popular science on that one. And we'll just leave it there. You can feel how you want to feel. You can think the earth's flat. That's fine too. Again, going to follow the popular science on a few things. But I will say some of that flat earth stuff is kind of, it's made me say, huh? For like, say it's like a 5-minute video. I'll be like, holy shit. Maybe I'll say maybe on some of those for about 2.5 minutes on some of them. Some 2.5, 3 minutes. I'll be like, bio, or what is it? Bios, is it biodome or biosphere or the intermist? I can't remember what it is, but whatever it is, it's, yeah, that's the one. I can't remember what the hell that's gonna bother me. Anyway, the fermentation, no, the firmament. The firmament. I knew it'd come to me. So that's really far away from what I was talking about. Anyway, the impacts of all that kind of shit has an impact on other kind of shit. So when you have people doing things, next time, here, I'm going to sum this up. Next time you're going to do some sketchy shit, whether it's personally, ethically wrong, morally, by code, wildlife code ethics wrong, or by wildlife code wrong, or just criminally wrong. I guess you could just, this translates to all life, I suppose. You gotta take a minute and really process what you're doing, and that take yourself out of the game and wonder what happens if said person, man or woman, gets busted doing X, Y, or Z, harvesting this, that, or another, how that then makes all of us look to the anti hunting public, which that number of anti people is big enough now to make an impact. It is already having serious impacts on wildlife laws, gun laws, all kinds of shit like that all over the country. And it's because hunting culture and that has the introduction of modernization and technology is kind of pushed to the side the go see it for yourself hunt. When I can slap on some VR goggles and take a walk anywhere in the world, why would I want to go, to some stupid 400-acre conservation area and actually have to freaking walk in the heat or the cold or the rain or the snow, to do anything? And because of that, we've turned, I've always called it de-evolution, but we've gotten soft, SOF, capital T. We've gotten soft as a species, as a people. And so I'm not saying that's one of the reasons again, but because of things like that and modernization and whatever, we've turned outside of hunting to where now people don't necessarily come at it something happens, right, for these people to become anti this or anti that. They see Blackfish. They maybe Bambi had a bigger impact than was intended. Or I mean, really, if you look at a lot of the cartoons and younger shows growing up, it's always Mean Hunter, innocent animals, Mean Hunter. They're not saying like they don't show that there's so many animals that they're getting ran over on the there anyway. It's the anti people, however that happens. A lot of the time, it doesn't happen till later in life, in a real "I want to change your rights" kind of way, until they see. Sometimes the grip and grins, I get it, that like can be somewhat like I could see how people could not be like, oh, it's a dead end. Because again, they don't understand that in some cultures, people take pictures with their dead relatives. It's an honor. It's a way to honor them and remember them and cherish them as they were forever. So it's a little weird. But I say that's weird. Uh, I'm not saying you know, it's, I can see how that can turn some people off. So would those people become like the absolute, I think those people just like, I just care not to see that. I don't mind that you hunt. I just care not to see that. So I don't think would necessarily go like full anti on you, as opposed to somebody that Hunter harvested 6 deer out of season. Hunter kills 2 elk out of season, or shoots calf and cow, shoots bear and cub, shoots, you know, baits this and that and like breaks the law. Once you do things that people deem as sketchy, you start screwing around in that gray area, and then it breaks that wildlife, and then you throw that wildlife. Once that law gets broken, then that gives them, that's like the flame. You've given them all the fuel. You've given them all the fuel. But what is that actual flame is when you actually cross that line, when you actually step over. And that's when people get the misconceptions, and then they do get angry at baiting, and they think, oh, you're gonna bait the fed bear's a dead bear, and or that's cheating. It yeah, it's meant to increase my odds. That's what baiting is for. It's meant to increase my odds so I see more bears, so I can selectively harvest the old ones, so the population is healthy and recycling. And after the 10 years, the same bear contributing that genetic pattern needs to go away so a new one can come, or else, like, that's what creates healthy, thriving biodiversity within a single population, is the overlapping and the stacking of genes and the winning of dominant ones that therefore make the population healthier, stronger, all that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, where do you draw the line? I've crossed it, not with bear or deer, but some other thing before. Things actually. No. Well, maybe. I mean, fuck. When I was a kid, I probably stepped over a fence and didn't notice it. Hell, I think Geronimo and I may even have dipped under one or two and been like, oh shit, whoops, not our frog pond. You know what I mean? And we backed out, no harm, no foul. Nothing came of it. We didn't take anything. Nothing got taken from us, and it is what it is. The other story, I think I'll still tell at a later date, but that was freaking as innocent as it gets. It wasn't a, oh, I'm gonna, that was a, uh, whoops, oh fuck, now what? So that shit happens as far as that goes. But when it comes to intentionally doing these things, you got to understand, once, if the article gets written, that's fuel to somebody's fire. That makes somebody's decision, or that turns a I don't like it, but I understand it, to those people are this, that, or another. And anytime anybody starts using terminology like those people, you can freaking guarantee that nothing constructive is going to happen moving forward with that kind of language. Politically, religiously, ethnically, racially, whatever. If you use those people in any sort of term, and once you've created that divide, it's very hard to come back. So before you operate in gray areas that could, like, why just ask yourself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? You know, to like, nowadays, you do some stupid stuff in Missouri, you're bound to get a Colorado game law changed. You know what I mean? Like, I love you, Colorado. I can't wait to come and experience that whole thing. But uh yeah, you don't want to affect it for other people. We're all in this together, and one thing can affect the next guy's thing and the next guy's thing, because it's only a matter of time till the bear hunter become, what they're, oh, we don't like the bear hunter, can become we don't like the predator hunter, can become we don't like trapper, to where we don't like, and now next thing you know, they're starting to try to tell us we can't. And if we can't, and nobody's using this conservation land, and it's just sitting there, this public land, why don't we just sell it? Because that shit, don't get me started, was also, that's a thing too. And why is that even brought up? Why was that even thought? Because we're not out there enjoying it like we used to. That used to be a place for somebody, and now those places aren't places, or they're over this or over that. And anyway, it's jacked up. Keep public land public. I will say that I am not political. I'm staying out of the I'm middle lane. In my mind, I've always been who I've been about this and about that. The earth, the line has moved underneath me. I'm not going to say which way, but the line has shifted. I have been right here, chilling, kicking it all the time, loving every minute of it. Not really. Pretty, like, it kind of sucks a lot of the time. Anyway, you guys, uh, I appreciate you following along. Please comment. If you listen to the episode, you can comment on the Spotify. If I can get this on the YouTube, you can comment on that. If it pops up on Apple or whatever you see this on, hear this on, uh, comment. Let me know how you feel. Where do you draw the line, or what's your argument? Let me know if you are against. I'm not looking to have an argument. Just put that there. I'm not looking to have an argument. I'm not looking for insults or anything of any negativity. I'm looking for constructive conversation. If you have a viewpoint or an opinion that goes against hunting or the why, by all means, put it out there. I'd love to talk to you about it, go back and forth about it, if you're for it, against it, either way. And again, if you got a lot to say about it, maybe you could come on the podcast, and if you got something you really want to sell, or um, a way you want to talk me down about it, then by all means, I welcome all of that. So please like, share, comment, follow along on Spotify. I appreciate you all for listening along. It's watching if I do to get this on, so that'd be cool. But I appreciate all you guys. It's very cool stuff. Thank you again to Bryant Carter Band, still out there putting out music, still doing concerts. Please look them up on Facebook. Concert coming next month in August, so look for the tickets on that. Be on their Facebook page, Bryant Carter Band. Fantastic stuff. Authentic Missouri music. Authentic Missouri music. It's the soundtrack for my hunting journey. I mean, for real, they are fantastic guys for letting me use their stuff, and fantastic band. So sure to check them out. Check out all the social media stuffs. Again, click the like buttons on the Facebook page, on all that. TikTok. Probably start ramping up some TikTok again, getting some videos out there. We'll try to cross that over with some YouTube. Again, I'm not going to do so much that I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. Okay, I'm not going to live life through the lens so you guys can then do the same thing. We're going to kind of be doing this, and I want you to do that too. Like, don't just stay right here all the time on the screen. Like, make your own memories, and some of them are just yours. Some of them are in your pocket. Some of them you just got to tell people about. Some of them you just got to make a podcast and tell people a story because you don't have a video. You don't have, you know, you just have the memory, which is better than freaking anything. That's all you have. That's all that's the most important shit in your life, in my mind, is what you remember. And I say that because I've buried two dads. Buried my stepdad, buried my real dad, got a bunch of shit inherited, like stuff, and especially like when my dad, when we went to clean out his house, we like took all this, like all these things that I felt so important, like pictures and just so many things that I felt such a connection to in that moment, that now, however many years after that fact, like I need to get a dumpster just so I can get all that shit out of my basement because it's just shit. Because the best things of my dad are the memories I have of my dad, those moments I had with my dad, that no picture, like the ones, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's great. But I'm I already got all that in my mind, and my mind will remember when it wants to, and I don't have to remember every moment if I remember the good ones. Like just because a picture got taken doesn't mean it was because somebody said smile. It's because somebody was trying to make a moment. That's not the moment. You know what I mean? If everybody's looking at the camera, that's not the moment. The moment already happened, or the moment's gonna happen later. So again, in and out, bob and weave, in and out of that freaking screen. So that being said, please watch my TikToks. Please watch my YouTube. If I can get the YouTube thing on, it'll be this, and maybe I'll get my little deer video that I had on here too or something. But try to, I guess, start adding some TikTok stuff, some YouTube stuff. Instagram, I'll get a little bit better onto that. To me, Instagram, it just feels like more of a picture app, even though it's like Snapchat. I don't know. I just have Snapchat. I feel like at some point you're too old for certain shit, and I never got on Snapchat. And the only thing I know of Snapchat was for high school kids to send booby and wiener pictures back to each other and not be able to save them so their parents don't go to prison. That was a whole freaking battle when you have a son and you're like, dude, you realize if that's on that phone and I pay for that phone, that I will then have to go knock on our neighbors' doors potentially? So, never been a fan of Snapchat ever. So, won't be on Snapchat. So, Facebook, that's just kind of letting you guys know what's up. If I got a bunch of pictures, I'll post it on Facebook and Instagram. That'll be a back and forth. YouTube will be hopefully video from like show episode videos and maybe some extracurricular stuff. Definitely probably some stuff from Colorado. Although I do like the TikTok side of that just because it edits it. And then some of it will be TikTok put onto YouTube. But whatever. Go like it all. Like none of it. Just keep listening. That's all I hope. Anyway, yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Stay hydrated. Find some shade. Stay cool. Keep your minds right. We're 2 months away from hunting season, so it's really time. If you haven't already got your bow to the bow shop, you better get going because they're probably going to start piling up pretty quick, and you don't want to be. I mean, you got 12 months a year. You can go get your bow tuned and get it right. So get it done now. Get to the range now. Start shooting, flinging arrows now. I'm gonna start shoot. I'm guilty in all my time off. I haven't shot the damn bow in since I shot that deer in December. That's no bueno. That's not good at all. So, matter of fact, I'm not sure what time it is. I might even go outside right now. Now that I'm thinking about stringing this damn thing up and just at least step out the back door and take a 25 yarder. You know what I mean? Because I need to get going on that. I need to, I'm preaching to the choir. A lot of the shit that I say, if I'm not doing it, it's almost me trying to remind myself that I need to do it also. So never feel like I'm be like, you need to do this and you better do that, because 9 out of 10, you can guarantee that I haven't fucking done any of that shit either. That I'm king procrastinator. So I will try to get a little bit better at that aspect of it. So anyway, again, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. And yeah, we'll always see you in the woods.